Hi, everyone. I'm Nicole.
And I'm Jillian. Welcome back to Raising Them, Finding Us.
So, Jillian and I were actually talking about starting a relatable mom moment of the episode, day, week, month, year, whatever you want to do, whenever your moment took place, we want to hear about it. And I want to tell you about mine first. Because as I sat down to record this podcast, I heard a crinkling in my pocket. Lo and behold, what do you think it is? Do you have a guess?
Well, I know what it is. I can't participate.
Okay. Fruit snack wrapper. And I know it's from today because we had an event with all of the kids. So this was the result of my catering business that I run on the side. Jillian, do you have one?
I do. Actually, I'm going to change the one I had because that reminded me of a different moment when I used to work at the bank and I was just going about my day. I'm typing on the computer and I'm talking to everybody and chit-chatting away. And I look down and I see a giant toy in my cleavage. It's like orange, like a bright orange. And it's like a stamp to a magnet game.
Like a magnet doodle?
Yes, exactly. It's like a triangle. And I'm like, where the hell did this come from? I showered. The shirt was a new shirt. I just don't understand. I don't remember like hanging out with the kids and playing with the kids because I went in early.
Was it an old bra?
I don't know. It might have been an old bra, but I showered. I showered.
You didn't shower with your bra on that day?
Not that time.
Do you remember if you took customers before you noticed it was in your cleavage?
Oh, yeah, definitely. It was in there, though. Nobody could see it.
Oh, I wasn't sure if it was orange pea sticking out.
It's deep in there. Yeah.
All right. Well, maybe it's just a deep crevasse. And there's just so much space for it to get lost.
So, yeah, since this is a space where we talk about motherhood honestly, today's episode is one of those conversations that might feel a little harder, but it's really important. Today, we're talking about postpartum depression.
Yes. And before we get into it, I just want to say this is not a clinical conversation. It's just about understanding and sharing and making like one or two people feel less alone.
Yes. Yeah, if there's one thing that we've learned in doing this research, it's that so many women feel this way and don't talk about it. We're not talking about it. And I think that a good place to start might be what we thought postpartum would feel like.
Right. Because I feel like we're sold this version of it. Like it's supposed to be magical. We bond. It's full of love, like an instant connection. Like we glow. We're supposed to glow, not sweat. Like you have these peaceful moments and they do exist like for some seconds at a time, but that's not the full picture. Like we got to zoom out.
Yeah. And when your experience doesn't match what's happening in your life, you can feel like something's wrong with you or that you're doing something wrong.
Right. Like maybe not doing something wrong, but like you're failing. You're doing everything wrong. It's all wrong.
Oh my gosh. Do you remember when you came over? I can't remember if it was after my second child or after my third child, but you came over with your boyfriend. I don't remember if he was your boyfriend or your husband yet. And he came over unannounced and I was having a day. I was washing dishes. The babies were crying. I had gotten no sleep. I had no bra on. I was leaking milk. I was like looking like a hobo. The house was a disaster. It probably smelled bad. I don't know. And you were like smiling and
fresh face, no kids.
Yeah, you were just like, I was stopping by to see how it's going. And I was like, don't have children.
Do you know what? You'd think that story would stick out. It doesn't.
It's so bizarre. And once you left, you text me and you were just so apologetic that you stopped by unannounced and you'll never do it again. You're so sorry because clearly it was a bad moment for me.
It was like apparently a bad moment.
Yes. But like that poor man was like, get me out of here.
Never having kids.
It was very funny.
I know that I texted you after and apologized, but like, I really hope I didn't stay long.
You didn't. You did
my
not.
God, good.
But you felt like you had to savor a moment. At
I'm not
that
gonna stop by
point, you
unannounced and
can't
be
just be
like,
like, "Oh, you look like you're falling apart. Goodbye."
"Whoa, somebody's having a bad day. I'm
Mm,
gonna leave."
mm-mm. Yeah, peace. Good luck with that.
All right, so let's talk about what postpartum depression actually is, right?
Mhm.
Because, when I Googled postpartum depression for a definition, because, like, that's what we do, not sponsored by Google. This is what Google said for a definition. It said it is a serious, treatable mood disorder occurring during pregnancy or within a year after childbirth. Hang on, a year? I don't understand that.
I swear my youngest is 12 and sometimes I'm like, "Am I still in
Postpartum.
postpartum?"
Postpartum. Anyway, it's characterized by intense sadness, anxiety, exhaustion, and having difficulty bonding with the baby. And it often starts within 1 to 3 weeks post delivery. I can't with the 1 to 3 weeks, but it's driven by rapid hormone changes, stress, and lack of support sometimes.
Yeah, and we should definitely mention that postpartum depression is highly manageable through therapy and medication.
Yes, and I have to say it doesn't feel like it at the time,
Yeah.
and because both of us going through it, it doesn't feel like you'll ever get help. But I think this would be a really good time to drop that National Maternal Mental Health phone number
Mhm.
that we shared in a previous episode. And the phone number is 1-833-TLC Mama.
Oh, I love that name.
I love it.
Yes, reach out if you need help. We all need help sometimes. Please don't try to do it alone. Um, yeah, postpartum depression or like PPD, like Nicole mentioned, is more than just feeling sad after you have a baby. It's like a real mood disorder that can affect your thoughts, your energy, your ability to function, and it's way more common than people think. Around 1 in 7 women experience it. Way more than I thought, and I know I had it, I know you experienced it as well.
Yeah, I definitely experienced it. And I thought, like at the very beginning that what I was experiencing was like a little bit, of the baby blues because it did go away, and for a little while
Mm,
I didn't feel it so hard anymore. But as my body kept changing and, like that, this mood disorder lasts longer than the 6 weeks that, I'm answering those check marks on the list up to my 6 week appointment,
yeah, I think the baby blues lasts up to 2 weeks, but PPD lasts much longer and feels a lot heavier, and it really interferes with, like, everyday life.
Oh, 100%. And I think this is the part that matters the most, like what it actually feels like, because it's different for everyone. But, like, it's not just sadness. It can look like crying all the time or not feeling anything, like feeling totally numb, disconnected from your baby or your kids, or most importantly, from yourself. You could be exhausted, unable to sleep, or on the contrary, you could be sleeping all the time
Mm,
or having this constant anxiety, like something bad is going to happen.
yes, and that is, like, one of the hardest parts is the thoughts.
Yeah. The intrusive ones?
Yes.
Those scary intrusive thoughts that like they don't feel like you. I mean, because they're not. They're not you.
Yeah, and then that shame that follows those thoughts. Having intrusive thoughts during postpartum depression can feel really scary.
Mhm.
They're not just passing worries, they're really vivid, they're clear. These unwanted thoughts and images, they just like pop up into your head out of nowhere. And they often involve like harming the baby or
Right.
something bad happening to the baby or something bad happening to you.
Mhm.
And even obviously that's like the last thing you want to happen, but they just keep popping up.
Yeah, and like you said, like what makes them so scary isn't just the content, it's how vivid and how real they feel cuz you feel the emotion like immediately like, "Oh my gosh, what if that actually happened?"
Yeah, your brain can't tell the difference.
Right, and it's almost like when you have those dreams and you're riding a bike and then all of a sudden you fall off the bike and you wake up, you know, it's like that, but I mean, I it's like happening in a split second, and then comes that the guilt of not only like, "Oh my gosh, I could do that," but the immediate thought of like, "Why would I think
Why do I
that?"
even think that way? Yeah.
Yes.
Because it's so important, though, right, to remember that the intrusive thoughts are just thoughts. They're not intentions. They're not. reflections of who we are as mothers,
Mhm.
or reflections of who we are as people. They're a symptom.
Right.
And your brain is overwhelmed, it's anxious, it's misfiring in ways that feel like really personal, but it's not. And moms don't talk about it because it feels really scary and vulnerable and embarrassing to say out loud.
I mean, like, imagine you're at a play group and I say out loud, like, "Hey, guys ever have intrusive thoughts? Like, this morning I thought I was gonna drop my baby on the tile floor." Like,
Yeah, it's not going to
imagine.
go great.
No, like, I'd be committed. Like,
Mm,
"Hello, CPS, there's a woman here."
yeah. And there's like there's this fear that you can't admit it because somebody will think you're dangerous.
Mhm.
Somebody will think you're an unfit mother or question your ability to care for your own kid. So, we stay quiet.
Mhm.
We stay silent, we keep it all inside, and it just makes it worse.
Oh, I mean, 100 times worse. And if you have experienced this, obviously you're not alone. And more importantly, these thoughts don't define you. Like the fact that they upset us or upset you is much more of a reflection of how much you care and who you are as a
Exactly.
mom and as a person. Yeah, I can vividly remember the day that I realized I had, something so much more than what's within my control. Like I I think I have depression or postpartum
Mm,
depression. Like I couldn't control my emotions, I couldn't control my thoughts and like the rage, I don't know how anyone else deals with rage or if you feel it or not, but like I over nothing. I would just like blind rage. And obviously, like I didn't hit my kids, I didn't do anything like that, but like just that feeling of rage and like I don't know what is happening. Like you would just flip out over
mhm.
anything that did. So like that one day that I realized it was all going downhill and I think I have depression. Uh we had just gotten a puppy. Like I'm going to start off with we had 2 kids. Our youngest was 1 and we had just gotten a puppy.
Yes, I remember that. You put me down as a reference,
They called you.
and they called, yep, and I remember thinking, "Is this bitch getting a puppy right now?"
Yes. Yes, I did. And,
Good
okay.
old Sadie.
Good old Sadie, we love her.
She's an
So
angel.
mhm, mm. She's like the angel on the other shoulder. Like, the good one, the bad one, she's not the good one, okay? I love her, but she's a runner. I mean, we'll just say it like that. She is a runner. So, I had just gotten her a run or like a lead for the backyard,
Mhm.
and she as soon as I let her out the back door, put her on the run, she bolted so hard, she broke right out of her collar, like, she snapped it
The
right
worst.
off of her neck, and I have 2 kids inside, and now I have to run after a puppy that's up and down my street in the winter. So, like anyway, it's just that was just a tip of the iceberg of the day, you know? Yeah, and I think it was my older daughter who asked me a question, and I just broke down. And I was just sobbing. And I remember crying so hard that I was like, I couldn't breathe.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Like that, like little kid sobbing, you
Mhm.
know?
Like the heaving. Mm.
Yep. So I called my sister and I told her, I don't know what's going on. I don't like how I'm feeling. And she's like, Nicole, you are depressed. Like, you have depression. It's okay. And
Mhm.
I'm the type of person that won't take Tylenol for a headache. You know what I'm saying? So the thought of me taking medication, especially on a daily basis, I
Mhm.
was
It's a
like,
lot
I
to
it
take
was
in.
it was a lot to take in. It was a lot to like swallow my pride,
Mhm.
honestly, and admit that I needed more help.
Mhm.
And I have to tell you, I'm so happy that I did because it has changed my life, and I'm not saying that's the only thing that's ever changed my life,
Of
but
course. Let me ask you something. Do you wish you took it sooner?
I 100%
Yeah.
wish that I took it sooner.
When do you think you would have started?
Um, Probably just shortly after my second was born
Mhm.
for me.
Yeah.
I don't know about
Probably
anyone.
same.
I was just about to say I don't know about anybody else. If you had a really like firstborn and then your second was like was it, That's what I was going through, and that's when it really hit me hard.
Mhm.
And you know what? Like, can we talk about how much of this ties into identity? Because you don't just have a baby, you become a completely new version of yourself, like,
Mhm.
quite literally overnight, you know? Like, before, I never would have called myself a depressed person, before having kids or before experiencing this. I'm not saying that maybe I wasn't, but that the word just didn't sit right with me because I
You
was
didn't
always
understand it.
I
Yeah.
did not. I didn't understand the feeling. That feeling didn't resonate with me at all. I was always usually happy,
Mhm.
and now that I'm a mom and I have everything that I want, like, how am I depressed now?
Yeah, it
Like,
kinda feels backwards.
yeah, it does feel backwards. Like, I don't understand it.
Yeah, and, how disorienting is that,
Mhm.
right? You're now responsible for this precious, tiny, the sweetest little human ever, but at the same time, you really don't recognize yourself in the mirror anymore, and you
Mhm.
already feel lost.
Yeah.
So if you add postpartum depression on top of that, it
Mhm.
just multiplies everything, 10 times over.
Right. Right. And it's like losing yourself and not having the energy to even think about or remember who I was before. Like, I don't have time for that. I don't have, well, I like to say I don't have the mental space for that right now.
Mhm.
And that's just how it's been for a really long time.
Yeah, you're just too busy.
Or too tired.
Yeah, it's so hard. So, okay, so why does this all happen? It's not just one thing,
Right.
it's a combination. Your hormones drop drastically after birth, like we talked about in the
Right.
last episode.
Yeah, your progesterone and estrogen drop 90%, like 90, not 19, 90.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that sudden shift in hormones directly impacts our brain chemistry and our mood regulation. And, to boot, on top of that, your body is physically recovering from whatever type of birth we had,
Mhm.
which, I mean, I can't wait to talk about birth stories. I want to hear. I want to
I
hear
wanna hear
about that.
everybody's.
Yes, no TMI here. Never enough
Never
information. NEI.
more.
Yes.
Tell me more.
TMM. Tell me more.
But
So we have all of these emotional and environmental changes happening all at once, and you're ridiculously sleep deprived.
ugh,
Like, ridiculous.
I wonder if I'll ever sleep again. I wonder.
I hear after
Which
they grow up, it's menopause.
just sleep deprivation alone is something that can destabilize anyone's mental health and emotional state.
Don't they use sleep deprivation as torture?
Yeah, exactly. They sure do.
Guantanamo.
That's just everyday life for
Yeah.
us. Yeah, sleep deprivation isn't just about feeling tired sometimes. It has measurable effects on your brain and your body when you're not getting enough sleep. I mean, your brain has a harder time regulating your emotions,
Mm.
which, not the best time for that to be happening.
Yeah, the part of your brain that processes fear and stress becomes more reactive, while the part that helps you stay calm and rational doesn't function nearly as well.
Of course.
So everything feels more overwhelming, more emotional, and just overall really much more difficult to manage. It's beautiful. Don't have kids.
Let me tell you, when I was looking up the consequences of not getting enough sleep, it impacts everything. It impacts the mood chemicals in your brain, like serotonin and dopamine, which play a huge role in how stable and motivated and emotionally balanced we feel. So, when those are off, it really can start to look a lot like anxiety and depression just from having lack of sleep.
Right. Absolutely. I remember the first night that my first, like, really didn't sleep.
Mm,
It was like we were a couple months in, and I think it was probably a sleep regression. coming
Mhm.
on because, not once when I was pregnant did I hear about sleep regression. So, anyway, we were in the throes of my first sleep regression that I had no idea what it was.
Mhm.
And the next day, the only thing she would let me do is hold her. And, when you so desperately just want to like nap when she's napping, but
Mm.
you got to put her down, it wasn't working. And I just remember again sobbing,
Mm.
sobbing. And like, I remember my parents visiting, and I was just like, she didn't sleep. And they're like, yeah, life's a bitch.
Yeah. It's so hard. Physically, our bodies are under more stress than ever before, right? Our cortisol levels, our stress hormones, they stay elevated, which can leave us just feeling constantly on edge, unable to relax, even when on those rare occasions when we get the chance to relax,
Yeah.
we can because our cortisol levels are through the roof. And I mean, did you know that your cortisol levels triple by your third trimester
No, I had no idea.
and then drop right back down to pre pregnancy levels within 1 week of giving birth? It's like a hormone roller coaster.
So wait, cortisol triples by your third trimester, and then 1 week after giving birth, it just like,
Drops, crashes, and
that's so
burns. That's
great.
correct.
I love the timing of that too.
Yes.
This is just lovely.
It's beautiful, isn't
It's
it?
beautiful. Uh, and in postpartum life, it's not just like it's one bad night of sleep, like it's
Nope.
constant. It's broken sleep night after night after night. And if it's not sleep regression, somebody is potty training or
Having a
a
nightmare.
neurovirus,
Yeah, vomiting
you know.
somewhere. Yeah.
And that just kind of like ongoing exhaustion just obviously makes it harder to cope, harder to think clearly, and definitely harder to feel like yourself.
Yeah. If you're feeling like you're not handling things the way you used to, maybe it's not because you're failing. It's probably just because you're running on empty
Not
and have
only,
nothing
yeah.
left.
Yeah, not only running on empty, but like your body, your hormones tanked. So
Yep.
you're literally running on, I guess,
Yeah.
yeah, you're literally running on empty. So the sleep deprivation, the hormones, our body's healing, and then you have to add in outside factors, maybe a traumatic birthing experience, pressure from families or a spouse, or just the pressure from yourself to enjoy every moment because
Mhm.
I have to enjoy you. The days are long, but the years are short.
Indeed.
Yes. And some moms, it's a lack of support. Some people don't have support around them. So honestly, like, is it surprising that so many women
Nope.
experience this? Like,
I think not.
no, not at all.
Right? And all these things just stack on top of each other, making things feel impossible. I can't I can't help but think postpartum depression isn't a person failing. It's just a very real and very honest response to an overwhelming set of changes that are happening.
Yeah, I would love to know if something like that happened to a man's testosterone or whatever hormones
Oh
he's
my
got. Like,
god,
what
can you
what kind of studies would
imagine?
they do?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And then there's this giant emotional aspect. Becoming a mother is a massive life transition. Not only do you change, but your routine, your relationships, obviously yourself, and all of it changes like immediately. And not knowing kind of constructively how to grieve, you know, can intensify how sad we feel because we haven't grieved it.
Mhm.
But even with how common it is, I feel like people don't talk about it enough. But I know we talk about it, but it's not really in a healthier, constructive way, in my opinion. But
Mhm.
like
Mhm.
that could be, I don't know.
I don't know, I think it might be because there's a lot of shame attached to it
Right.
still.
Especially around the thoughts like,
Yes, those intrusive thoughts, no one wants to talk about those.
oh, 100%. But the other thoughts, like those guilty thoughts,
Mm,
so why don't I feel connected?
mhm,
And am I a bad mom?
mhm. Yeah, and the fear of being judged or misunderstood. And, the crazy thing is that it's not a fear of being judged by your sister
Right.
or your mother-in-law.
I mean, sometimes it is.
This is true.
Sometimes it is,
This is true.
but I mean, hopefully not in all cases.
It's like this crazy fear of being judged by the mom at the playground that we don't even really know that well.
Or no at all.
Yeah. Or like some stranger at a grocery store who happens to see our kid throwing a tantrum. We really need to support each other out there in the wild. I'm a huge believer that it takes a village to raise these kids.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, let's have a pour one out moment for surfboard carrying your kid out of a store,
Indeed.
just. But I was actually just saying this to another mom at softball. Not my softball. So I was just saying this to another mom at my daughter's softball game that we used to have villages, not like we, her, and I, but just generationally, I think, like,
Mhm.
generations ago, we used to have a village.
Mm.
There was just help kind of built in, but now I feel like there is
You used to be
no
able to
more.
drop by unannounced and it was
And
normal.
and it was a delight.
Yes,
Like,
and now you don't do it.
yeah, like, you stopped what you were doing, you had
Mhm.
cake and coffee.
Well, listen, because we think everyone is a serial killer. Guilty.
It's those true crimes you got going on.
I can't help it. They're out there.
Anyway, so when you're out there in Gen Pop and you're seeing a mom struggling, just throwing her a couple words of encouragement. I
Mhm.
mean, and if you're not
Mhm.
comfortable enough to say anything, like
You smile and nod.
even just like I've it's okay. I've been there, you know?
Mhm.
Or if
You're
there
doing
if
great, mama. Come on.
but yeah, it can go a long way.
Yes.
Long way.
So, the truth is, it's treatable. There are real ways to get support and help, therapy, talking to your doctor, support groups, and sometimes medication. And that's okay. Even if typically you don't really like taking medications, this might be one of those times that you make an exception because our babies need us.
Yeah. I agree 100%, and like we said before, I wish I had reached out sooner or even recognized, like,
Mm.
yeah, you're
Mhm.
not within that first 6 weeks postpartum, but this feeling is very valid and it is very much depression. Also, you do not have to do it alone. I mean, it's so incredibly difficult to do it alone. And I mean, sometimes we do just have to let someone in, and even if it's just one person, and maybe you don't have a person, that's okay because there's that mental health line that we keep mentioning. It's the maternal mental health line that's free, 24/7. Isolation it makes everything louder and harder.
Yeah. If you are listening to this and you feel seen in any part of it, remember this does not make you a bad mom.
Nope.
It doesn't mean you failed. It means you're human and you're going through something really incredible. And
Mhm.
sometimes it's just really hard.
Yeah, you're a literal superhero. Like saving
It's
the
true.
world one diaper change at a time
Yeah.
for your country. You're doing
Growing
this.
bones in your womb.
Yes, you are a superhero. Give yourself a break and let someone help you.
Yep. And with support, you can feel like yourself again, or rather, a new version of yourself that feels whole again. And I guess that's what this podcast is about.
Yes, and I'm happy to be here. So come back here on the 1st and 15th of every month where we have these conversations that need to happen. So follow our social media handles on Instagram and TikTok. And of course, like and subscribe on YouTube, Spotify, and wherever you get your podcasts. So thank you for hanging out with us. Until next time, keep raising them and don't forget to find yourself. Hey guys, it's Nicole and Jillian again. We just wanted to come back on here and say a couple of things. Number one, if you are experiencing a crisis and are in immediate danger, if you feel like you or your baby are in immediate danger, please don't hesitate to call 911.
And there's also 988, which is the suicide and crisis hotline.
Yes. Or the National Maternal Mental Health Hotline, which is 1-833-TLC Mama.